I'm here with the fabulous Christine McKinley joining us from
Orlando, Florida.
Orlando, Florida, where
Right
all of us in Boston wish we were somewhere in that state.
Yep. You're the happiest place on earth.
Exactly, especially, I think during the holidays, you were talking about your ugly sweater parties, sadly.
Yes.
Where it is too warm to wear a sweater? I don't understand.
Wear a sweater. We're doing ugly Christmas t-shirt parties here.
Does it look like a sweater or what? I mean, tell me more about that.
No, it's just too hot to wear a sweater. So we're just in like t-shirts, and you decorate it just the same. If you were to decorate an ugly Christmas sweater, you can, glue on the ornaments and call it a day. But it's just too warm. Today it's 72. I think we're getting a cold front, so it's a little rainy today. But I understand that at this time of year, this is kind of when people from up north start thinking about relocating or at least getting a second home down here. So that's what we kind of wanted to bring to everybody today, because this might be the time that you're thinking about it the most. And when January hits, I think that might even be a stronger thought. Am I right?
Without a doubt. It is in a lot of people's minds right now, as we've had 2 snowstorms so far.
Wow.
And it's barely mid-December. Over a foot. Some areas have had 2 feet of snow up here in Massachusetts, and it's just too early, and it's just not fair.
Right. It's not fair.
No, and that's why we have this program.
Right.
Is a resource for those thinking of snowbirding to points further south, especially the Florida area. And today we've got an awesome guest who's been extremely patient with our technical challenges. But I'm going to bring her on here, Julia Ray, coming on in a second. Julia.
Yay!
Great to see and hear both of you finally.
Oh, fantastic. Julia, you are joining us from where?
Hollywood Beach, Florida.
Hollywood Beach, Florida. So as I was prepping for our interview today, I learned that Hollywood Beach, Florida is in between Miami and Fort Lauderdale, correct?
That's exactly right. And I'm actually sitting in one of the beachfront buildings right now doing this interview with you.
Oh, fantastic. That is, well, I'm extremely jealous. I'll say it right now. So Julia, tell us a little bit about, Hollywood, the Hollywood, Florida area. I know you're not exactly in Hollywood, you're in an adjacent area, but tell us a little bit about this area.
So Hollywood Beach, Florida is, like you correctly said, located between Fort Lauderdale and Miami. There are close to 50 plus buildings, from the luxury buildings to the mid-range buildings to the lower key, and as well as some co-ops. Mm-hmm. So they go all the way on the beachfront line from Dania Beach, Hollywood Beach, Hallandale Beach, up to Sunny Isles in Miami Beach, down to South Beach. So we're all on the oceanfront line here. The pro-development mayor right now, supporting a lot of new developments. We have close in Hollywood Beach alone. We have close to 10 new condos, which is the third surge of the new development in Hollywood Beach. And mainly the population during the winter, some of them allow rentals 12 times a year. Some of the buildings have no rental restrictions. The rules and regulations of the condos are constantly adapting as the investors are requesting more and more lenient rules to be adopted. Mm-hmm. Some co-ops and condos don't allow any rentals, as snowbirds that want to occupy those condos don't want any rentals to come in at all. So it's a very different market.
Sure. So each building has their own set of rules, and whether or not they can have rentals, whether or not, owner occupancy rules.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Each building operates completely different.
Okay, very good. And what do you think? That's interesting. Here in Orlando, we have a lot of new construction also. Bill, I don't know if new construction is a thing up there.
anything after 1935, something that does not have a fieldstone foundation, right on it.
Got it. So in Orlando, we're having homes still built today, and they're semi-custom homes. So the builder has the floor plan, and you can choose your options. So I'm thinking that Snowbird would have the same option down where you're at in Hollywood or in those beach areas. It's the semi-custom new construction units.
They're usually decorator-ready units, as the developers are calling them. So the potential buyer has the choice of the tile. The windows in the kitchen, sometimes there are maybe one or two choices, but most of them do come without the floors or the closets. And you have the facing of the kitchen, a choice of appliances. It really depends on the developer.
Okay.
Luxury condos, they come ready. There's one new building in Lauderdale Beach, Florida, that is being built, and it comes completely ready with Italian cabinetry and closets.
Wow. So what is the luxury market there? And then what is maybe the more average price point for those buildings?
So the condos in Hollywood Beach, Florida, they range. I mainly specialize in condos on the beachfront and directly across from the beach, as well as on the intercoastal waterways. So the condos range anywhere between $3 million and down to 100. I think the cheapest one we have right now is 109,000 for a co-op directly across the street from the beach.
That's amazing. And even though you're across the street from the beach, there's public access or at least some sort of a view.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Actually, a lot of people do prefer intercoastal view because it's much prettier at night. Yeah. The ocean view gets dark, and during the day, most people are spending their time on the beach, not looking out of the window at the ocean.
Yeah, that's a good point. And now I don't know if you'll be able to answer this, or maybe this is something that we can get back to people, but is there a difference in maybe like either an HOA payment or a home insurance for being on the ocean versus being on the intercoastal? Because I would think maybe the salt spray, there's maybe more updating to do or maintenance to do with that.
Right. As a rule of thumb, the maintenance on the beach will be a little higher, and I do have those numbers as I do most of the work in condos, both on the ocean and on the intercoastal side. The insurance does vary as well. It's just there's not a major price difference in the insurance, although parts of Hollywood Beach, some of the parts are part of the flood zone and some are not, interestingly enough. So it does play a difference in the insurance. And the hurricane coverage also would play a major difference.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The condo fee, just to give you an idea, on the newer buildings, they can go as high as $1.50 per square foot. And, it can run you anywhere between $2,500 per month and down to $223, that co-op that I mentioned to you. So the carrying cost, or how much it costs the snowbird to hold the condo if they're not renting it out, plays a major difference in what kind of property they will be choosing to buy.
Absolutely.
What percentage would you say of snowbirds are renting their units out?
I would say from my experience, it's 50-50. So some people prefer buildings where you can rent 12 times a year, and most of the buildings have restrictions that you can only rent once a year, and very few buildings have restrictions that you can rent 12 months minimum, because they just don't want to attract short-term rentals. We have in Hollywood Beach maybe 5 buildings in total that allow rentals 12 times a year or less.
Wow. Yeah.
And now the city of Hollywood Beach adopted the registration procedure for every single unit owner to be registered with Hollywood Beach, the city of Hollywood Beach, to let them know if they're planning on renting their unit. And Airbnb actually now collects taxes and sends it directly to the appropriate tax agencies. So we have a 6% tourist tax and a 6% Department of Revenue tax that needs to be paid by anybody who rents for less than 6 months. It's called a transient rental. And so every unit owner should register and pay those taxes.
Yeah, started that in Massachusetts last year. And Boston actually outlawed Airbnb in downtown Boston. But that's great. You've got a lot of different options there. Tell us about, is there locations on the beach that are different? I mean, is it north versus south, things like that people look for or should be on the lookout for?
Yeah, absolutely. So Hollywood Beach, the adjacent street to Hollywood Beach, or the perpendicular street, would I say, we are located on South Ocean Drive, and the two main streets are Hallandale Beach Boulevard, and anything north of that will be considered Hollywood Beach. And then you have a Hollywood Beach Boulevard, and then it continues into Dania Beach. So the closer, we do have a boardwalk area, which is very popular. It's about a 10-mile promenade that people can walk on, and there's a bunch of restaurants and concerts. Margaritaville just built a hotel there about 2 years ago. They completed the construction of that hotel, 300 rooms with 4 restaurants, and the property on the Intercoastal as well. So,
I heard about that opening. That's very cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool. Will they have ownership opportunities at the Margaritaville, or is it just a resort? Do you know?
It's just a resort.
Okay.
Ownership. There are a couple of condo hotels in the area, very close to Margaritaville. Costa Hollywood is one of those, built by the Canadian developer.
Okay.
About 300 condos.
Okay. That term condo-tel is new. Well, not new, but it was new to me when I started in real estate here, with Disney being so close. It is like an experience. So they're each privately owned, correct?
Exactly. And you have a choice of whether you want to rent your condo on your own or be a part of the hotel program. And you cannot occupy that condo for more than 150 days per year, whether you are in the hotel program or not. So
it's a complete hotel experience for the client. I mean, there's a lobby that they go into. I know that's how it is here. I don't want to speak for you, but you feel like you're at a hotel, but it's privately owned. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, it's a very cool concept, and you get luxury amenities and restaurants at your fingertips, and it's amazing. Yep.
Yeah, and for the sellers, for the owners, you usually purchase them and they're fully furnished, and then you can decide to keep that furniture, or you can update it. You can get all new furniture, but it can be so easy as far as an investment opportunity for you to do that.
Right, exactly. And if you do decide to go on the hotel program, you have to furnish it and upkeep it by the standard of the hotel. So it's just important to keep in mind, and for the clients to know that if they're going to be going into that concept.
Yeah, people have a lot of options.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Are there? I guess one question I have is why do people decide on the Hollywood, Florida area versus maybe Fort Lauderdale or Miami? What have you heard from your clients that are?
It's a quieter environment. It's close, equally close to Miami and Fort Lauderdale, and with 2 boat shows that we have annually going on, one in Fort Lauderdale, another one in Miami. Miami itself, and the port of Miami and the cruising is a highly desirable destination. We also have an Art Basel that is happening here since 2002. And this year we had over 93,000 attendees. Wow. And more than 300 galleries participating in the event. And what a lot of people do not know that the Art Basel actually starts in March and continues all the way to the Art Basel week, which happened from December 1st to December 8th of this year.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. And is there one particular building you see that offers, the most compelling value for somebody who's looking to maybe not rent it out so much?
Yeah, it really depends on the price range. Like I said, we have buildings that range, the average price range in the building would run you close to $1 million. There are more luxury buildings that are like Trump Hollywood. The average sales price in that building is close to $2 million. There are only 275 units in the building, so it's considered more of a boutique building with exclusive amenities. And then we have buildings that are highly desirable for investors. And one of the buildings that I'm currently sitting in allows 12 times per year rental. The units run anywhere between, you can buy a unit as low as $250 and up to $700,000. And they're 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, very large floor plans, high rental rates. And what most of my clients do, they purchase it as a snowbird. They have a private closet, or they lock one of the rooms and they end up renting the second room or the whole apartment seasonally. And, you know, we have rentals anywhere from 30 days up to, 4 months or 6 months. And the type of clients who are coming here to rent, mainly Canadians, very affluent clients that can afford to come here for 4 months in a row to stay here and enjoy the warmer climate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great.
Nice.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic.
It does.
And I gotta say, when a buyer is looking to invest in an area that is primarily kind of high-rise or mid-rise condominiums, it's critically important that that buyer gets aligned with an agent that really knows these buildings, that knows them inside and out. And Julia, I can't thank you enough for joining us. Obviously, you're an expert in the area. You're an expert in these buildings. How can people get a hold of you if they're interested in Hollywood?
Well, my phone number is 954-699-0282. And my email is julia@radiantre.com. That's RAYDIANTRE.com.
And that's your website as well, I assume.
That's a website as well, and that's my Facebook tag, so they can find me on Twitter, on Instagram under the same name.
Radiant RE with a Y, RAY.
With a Y, yeah.
Awesome, Julia. Thank you so much for joining us, Christine. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing everybody next time on Snowbirding 101. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays. Thank you for having me on. Thank you. Bye.